The Red Sea is a seawater inlet of the Indian Ocean, lying between Africa and Asia. Its connection to the ocean is in the south, through the Bab el-Mandeb Strait and the Gulf of Aden. To its north lie the Sinai Peninsula, the Gulf of Aqaba, and the Gulf of Suez. It is underlain by the Red Sea Rift, which is part of the Great Rift Valley. The Red Sea has a surface area of roughly 438,000 square kilometers wide. It has an average depth of 490 meters, and in the central Suakan Trough it reaches its maximum depth of 3,040 meters. The Red Sea also has extensive shallow shelves, noted for their marine life and corals. The sea is the habitat of over 1,000 invertebrate species and 200 types of soft and hard coral. It is the world's northernmost tropical sea, and has been designated a Global 200 ecoregion. The International Hydrographic Organization defines the limits of the Red Sea as follows. Exclusive economic zones in Red Sea. Note: Bir Tawil disputed between Sudan and Egypt and calculated for both. Red Sea is a direct translation of the Greek Erythra Thalassa. Other designations include the Arabic, Romanized, Al-Bahr al-Ahmar, the Coptic Fiam Ensari, Yama Samaka, Somali Bata Kas and Tigrinya Kei Bahari. The name of the sea may signify the seasonal blooms of the red-colored Trichodesmium erythraeum near the water's surface. A theory favored by some modern scholars is that the name red is referring to the direction south, just as the Black Sea's name may refer to north. The basis of this theory is that some Asiatic languages used color words to refer to the cardinal directions. Herodotus on one occasion uses Red Sea and Southern Sea interchangeably. The name in Hebrew Yam Suf is of biblical origin. The name in Coptic, Fiam and Har, is connected to ancient Egyptian root hh, which refers to water and sea. Pa-Aim, Rn Mu Ked, the ancient Egyptian name of the Red Sea. Historically, it was also known to Western geographers as Mare Makkah and Sinus Arabicus. Some ancient geographers called the Red Sea the Arabian Gulf or Gulf of Arabia. The association of the Red Sea with the biblical account of the Israelites crossing the Red Sea is ancient, and was made explicit in the Septuagint translation of the Book of Exodus from Hebrew to Koine Greek in approximately the 3rd century BC. In that version, the Yam Suf, Professor Colin Humphreys explains the discrepancy on the basis that a freshwater mass of reeds could have existed around Aqaba. The Red Sea is one of 4 seas named in English after common color terms, the others being the Black Sea, the White Sea and the Yellow Sea. The direct rendition of the Greek Erythra Thalassa in Latin as Mare Erythraeum refers to the northwestern part of the Indian Ocean, and also to a region on Mars. The earliest known exploration of the Red Sea was conducted by ancient Egyptians, as they attempted to establish commercial routes to Punt. One such expedition took place around 2500 BCE, and another around 1500 BCE. In his Judeo-Arabic translation of the Pentateuch, identifies the crossing place of the Red Sea as Bahr al-Kulzum, meaning the Gulf of Suez. In the 6th century BCE, Darius the Great of Persia sent reconnaissance missions to the Red Sea, improving and extending navigation by locating many hazardous rocks and currents. A canal was built between the Nile and the northern end of the Red Sea at Suez. In the late 4th century BCE, Alexander the Great sent Greek naval expeditions down the Red Sea to the Indian Ocean. Greek navigators continued to explore and compile data on the Red Sea. Agathochades collected information about the sea in the 2nd century BCE. The Periplus of the Erythraean Sea, a Greek periplus written by an unknown author around the 1st century, contains a detailed description of the Red Sea's ports and sea routes. The Periplus also describes how Hippolytus first discovered the direct route from the Red Sea to India. The Red Sea was favored for Roman trade with India starting with the reign of Augustus. When the Roman Empire gained control over the Mediterranean, Egypt, and the northern Red Sea, the route had been used by previous states but grew in the volume of traffic under the Romans. From Indian ports, goods from China were introduced to the Roman world. Contact between Rome and China depended on the Red Sea, but the route was broken by the Aksumite Empire around the 3rd century AD. During the Middle Ages, the Red Sea was an important part of the spice trade route. In 1183, Rainald of Chatillon launched a raid down the Red Sea to attack the Muslim pilgrim convoys to Makkah. The possibility that Rainald's fleet might sack the holy cities of Makkah and Medina caused fury throughout the Muslim world. However, it appears that Rainald's target were the lightly armed Muslim pilgrim convoys rather than the well-guarded cities of Makkah and Medina, and the belief in the Muslim world that Rainald was seeking to sack the holy city.